let's go. It's time to be the GOAT. It's time to enter God mode, man, let's get it going. I wanna be the greatest, energy is overflowing. I know I'm stoking the fire, my desire's taking over, not time.
Okay, you beautiful friends, welcome back to the back of the semi-truck, and I know it's been a couple of weeks, if not a few weeks, since we've done any of the Learning the Lore Adventure Time videos, and I haven't forgot about y'all. Obviously with this video, I've just been really crazy busy. I don't know what has been the last couple of years, but my freaking schedule has just been crazy busy. But nonetheless, I am back with another Learning the Lore, and we went over Learning the Lore of Adventure Time, and then we did a part 2 of Learning the Lore, which covered Distant Lands, and then we did Fiona and Cake, Learning the Lore, and now we're just dealing with single subjects when it comes to Learning the Lore. Now, this is a video, I'm hoping that it explains, it comes from a channel by the name of PawX, spelled P-A-W-X, with no spaces in between, so I don't know how to pronounce the name of the channel, but I'm gonna go with PawX. I looked through their channel, it looks like they only cover Adventure Time, so I'm presuming these are going to be videos that are pretty well detailed when it comes to giving us the story. And this video was entitled, it's only a 7-minute long video. Of course, I'm going to leave a link down in the description below, and hopefully, if I remember, a pinned comment. And if you can't find it, by all means, just ask in the comments, and I'll give a link to the original video that we're watching. But the name of it was The Untold Story of the Mushroom War. Now, I wanted to slow down and take all these subjects all at, one at a time now. So that's what we're doing with the Mushroom War. We're going to find out what it was all about, and all that good stuff. So, I think I've listened to the first few seconds. He's talking about how Ooh is, a nice town, blah, blah, blah. Of course, that's before the, Mushroom War happened. So, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do our normal thing and spin this thing around to where I'm up here in the corner. I know I haven't done it yet, but we're about to in 3, 2, 1. Yes, it's a 7-minute video, but y'all know how I do around here. We are definitely going to be pausing. So 3, 2, 1, and play.
Man, Ooh is looking nice. Look at all these buildings. Look at all these people. Oh my God. What happened? The people, the buildings. Who could have caused this? Oh boy. Let me tell ya. In the world before the Great Mushroom War, there was the elementals. Like these living things of fire.
Pause. Well, great pause too. I got this elemental here with nothing but underwear on. But nonetheless, hold on. So, I don't know if they said it in Foot of a Ferret's videos, but was it the lynch that actually caused this Mushroom War? Because I seen at the beginning there, with this guy was talking, he had some scenes of the lynch coming, walking around in the fire. I really hope it wasn't, but honestly, it would make sense. But I feel like I'm getting some new lore here as well, because I don't know nothing about these elementals. So it's kind of like, wait a second, Foot of a Ferret didn't even explain these guys to me. I feel like there's a lot that Foot of a Ferret, because Foot of a Ferret, when I was doing those first 3 videos, he was going rapid fire through everything. He wasn't going detail by detail by detail, and that's why we're jumping into these single story issues. Next, I'm probably going to be going with, Simon and Marceline and their story and their backstory and stuff like that. So, either way, let's find out about these elementals in 3, 2, 1, and play again.
Ice, candy, and slime saw a big disaster coming up. Even with their magic not super strong, they knew some bad stuff was on its way. Patient St. Pim, the ice elemental, went ahead and froze herself in the deep ocean, waiting for the world to get hit by the disaster. With everyone getting tense and nations prepping for a fight, the Great Mushroom War started, which was like this really bad conflict with mushroom clouds and humans almost going extinct. The Mushroom Bomb, one of the craziest weapons out there, messed with reality and brought magic back to the world. In all that chaos, the Lich Spirit showed up, like this evil force making everything worse behind the scenes. After everything went down, some survivors held on to life in the wasteland.
Pause. Okay, so right now we're already getting a little bit of Simon and Marceline right here, because he's talking about survivors, you know, surviving in the wasteland. But holy crap, yeah, okay, the Lich, I guess he was the one to detonate the mushroom bomb, but I had those elementals definitely seen. I'm trying to find the right words here before I say too much. They should have told the world first off and warned everybody, but the elementals, you know, the ice person froze themselves underwater for however long it took. Then you also have, there's ice, fire, slime, and candy. Okay, so maybe that the Candy Kingdom. I mean, I remember some slime things in the show, and then of course ice and fire. Okay, so cool beans. I like what I'm getting here. There's some new lore here. It just, I really wish, honestly, I chose somebody else besides Foot of a Ferret, because they rapid fired that stuff. Either way, though, we gotta continue. Let's hit play once again and play.
Among them were Simon Petrikov, who was protected by Evergreen's crown, Marceline Abadir and her mom Elise, who somehow made it, Mosif Mo Mastro Giovanni, the cyborg owner of Mo & Co., and Patient St. Pim, the ice elemental, still...
Balls. Wait. The guy with the weirdo legs. The Mo person. That looks like the guy. I seen some BMO looking things there. And I was informed that there was a human or somebody created BMO. So maybe that was him. Holy crap. And then we got that ice elemental again, of course. And I didn't know Marceline actually had a mom. I thought she was like a refugee or something, and you know, Simon just happened to find her and they formed a bond, you know, taking care of each other throughout all the years. Wow. There's so freaking much more. Either way, let's continue. And play.
Also, some humans led by Hugo got away from Earth on a rocket ship and mixed their DNA with aliens called Greys to become these ageless hybrid things, the Grey Elves. With the Earth changing because of magic and the war, all these weird creatures and beings came into the world, bringing new threats and stuff. Rainicorns hunted humans for food, while the vampire court turned a lot of survivors into mindless minions. Plus, radiation and magic made these scary oozers, zombie-like creatures that roamed the land. During the dark time, Simon Petrikov found little Marceline Abadir, all alone in the ruins of a city. He took care of her, gave her a stuffed toy named Hambo, and taught her how to survive in the harsh world. They got close, like a father and daughter, but as Simon's mind went nuts because of Evergreen's crown, Marceline had to face the tough world by herself. Even with everything so bleak, hope and resilience kept going. Bits of human civilization, like the Super Porp Soda Company and Moco, were still around, reminding people of the world that used to be. Old stuff like movies, books, and music also lasted, giving survivors some comfort and inspiration. And then the Blue Catalyst Comet hit Earth.
Pause again. Okay, so obviously I want to pause multiple times, having commentary and stuff to say, hence the reason why I pause so much. But I need to desperately watch something for Simon and Marceline, because I want to see the heartstrings that get pulled with their story. So yeah, I definitely want to slow down. That's going to be the next thing we watch around here, is the Simon and Marceline story. But now, after the Mushroom War, now it looks like we're getting something else coming. So that is interesting. And I completely forgot about the Rainicorns going after the humans and stuff like that. So, oh my gosh, I'm getting so freaking much in this. Now, hopefully this little blue comet thingy that's coming doesn't destroy everything again, and it just kind of calms everything down. But we never know. The land of Oo or whatever, it's no longer the previous Earth that it was. So, yeah, either way, I'll continue because I feel like I lost my train of thought there anyway with some of my ramblings. So, I'll shut up for a moment and play.
Behind an agent of change in the form of a butterfly. This butterfly would come back later as Finn the Human, a new hero in a world that was still healing from the Great Mushroom War. As Earth kept changing, survivors found ways to live and get by in the new world.
Balls, wait, whoa, what the heck? The butterfly turned into Finn? Finn's a freaking butterfly this whole time? What the heck? That's crazy. That is so freaking crazy. Holy crap. Okay. Time for me to shut up and just continue playing after that revelation right there. Holy crap. And play.
The Great Mushroom War was always there as a reminder of how low humanity could go and the courage of strength it took to get back up. But what really happened before the Great Mushroom War started? Are there any clues in the show that can point us in a certain direction? Although Adventure Time doesn't give us all the details about what happened before the Great Mushroom War, there are hints and stuff throughout the show that help us understand the world before everything went wrong. Before the war, the world was kind of like ours, with humans living in advanced societies and technology being a big part of daily life. But the elementals, living things of the four elements, fire, ice, candy, and slime, were also there with the humans. The show suggests that the elementals met sometimes to talk about the world and their visions of a huge disaster. The show also hints at an international crisis happening before the war, as mentioned by Simon Petrikov in his notes about the Enchiridion. This crisis eventually led to the Great Mushroom War, a worldwide conflict involving different nations. But I already know what you're saying. What was the conflict that could have led to this war to begin with? What were they fighting over? Well, it's actually a little more simple than you might think. For land control, something that's actually pretty familiar in our own world. But why do I say this? Why do I say the conflict was over land control? Well, it all comes down to one episode, Bananas. Now, in this episode, Finn discovers a note from Jake and spends time reading a Ballet magazine. While waiting for him, he writes an amusing caption and becomes determined to publish it at Ballet headquarters. After consulting with Princess Bubblegum and Ice King, Finn and Ice King teleport to the long-abandoned Ballet headquarters.
Balls. Okay, so yes, I did a bit of an extended play there, but I was trying to if I get the word determine out of my mouth, I was trying to determine when to pause and when not to, and I couldn't find a good happy medium there. But since we got, them going over there to the Black headquarters, I think that's a good opportunity to slow down and be like, okay, land control. Believe it or not, that's pretty much what all wars are fought over, is land control. Granted, yes, a lot of wars are fought over various other things, but land control, to keep it relevant to when I'm recording this right now, we've got what's happening over there in, Ukraine and Russia. It's more complicated than it seems. Definitely way more complicated. There's a lot of stuff happening over there that I feel I'm not even going to touch on it, because no matter what, they're all wrong over there, I feel like. Yeah, I've got a whole whirlwind of thoughts on both sides over there from those countries, and ultimately they need to work it out and peace needs to be made. So figure out something to make peace and get over it. Too many people are dying, and they need to get over it and strike a peace deal and honor that peace deal. So yeah, a lot of what's going on though is over land. So yeah, that's primarily what most wars are fought over. But these elementals, I need to watch me an episode with these elementals in it and find out more about them, because holy crap, I've driven a lot today, by the way. When I start getting further into the learning the lore stuff, I'm going to probably get one on the elementals, because they feel like they got a bit of a story. So they knew some stuff, and I feel like they could have easily prevented some of the stuff that happened with the mushroom war here. Either way, though, I'll shut up. Let's play. And hold on, the screen I got says dedicate your life to something. I can't see what that says. And this says anatomy of a biff. Okay, hopefully I'm on the same screen and maybe a millisecond there or something didn't mess it up. But either way, let's continue and play.
They revived the magazine with Ice King's penguins, and Finn's caption is published. However, others don't find the caption funny. When Finn returns home, he doubts his sense of humor but finds comfort when Beemo and Nectar laugh at his accidental slapstick comedy. But what's important about this episode that reveals the conflict that resulted in the Great Mushroom War? Well, remember when I said long abandoned Bled headquarters? Do you notice why it's abandoned? It's flooded. Now, this is a very surface level theory, but it has a lot of real world similarities. As ocean levels rise, land gets taken under, and countries and nations seek out to find new land. And that's where conflict arises. And that's what I believe was the conflict that started the Great Mushroom War. Countries and nations determined to find new land after rising sea waters have wiped out their existing land. And then the war ended with the use of nuclear weapons, which created those mushroom clouds and caused tons of destruction and chaos. The mushroom bomb, one of the most powerful weapons used during the war, wasn't just nuclear, but also had this mysterious power that messed with reality itself. This event brought...
Pause. Yes, the event brought back magic. But who released the mushroom bomb? That's what I'm wondering, because this guy keeps going back to screen showing the Lynch walking away from, an explosion. But was it the Lynch? Because when the elementals talk about visions, the elementals show a vision of the Lynch. So is it the Lynch that, ultimately detonated the mushroom bomb? Because, or was it just or was the Lynch just kind of a figment that's kind of in the back of people's mind? They kind of like, hey, this person's doing this, this is doing this. If y'all do this, this'll, help y'all win the war. And then ultimately the mushroom did that. And ultimately that's how it was the fault of Lynch. Yeah, jeez. Because from what he's saying, I feel like he's saying that it was just various countries fighting over land in general. And that's the gist I get. But he also keeps showing the Lynch. So, I don't know. Either way, let's continue. We got a couple minutes left here. Let's see how far we get. And play.
Back magic into the world and let the Lich wake up and cause more trouble. The episodes Finn the Human and Jake the Dog give us a bit more info about what happened before the Great Mushroom War and what could have happened if things went differently. In these episodes, Finn wishes that the Lich, which came from the mushroom bomb, never even existed. This means that either a country used the green catalyst comet's essence to create the bomb.
Pause. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so the bomb released the Lynch. Okay, got it. Okay, cool. I don't have nothing else to say, so let's continue.
Bomb, or it was a regular nuclear weapon that released the evil essence when it exploded. When the wish comes true, Finn goes to an alternate reality called Farm World, where Simon Petrikov sacrificed himself to stop the mushroom bomb and froze the whole Earth. In this alternate timeline, without the mushroom bomb going off, humanity keeps on living, even though the war still caused some destruction. Farm World Marceline also gives us some clues about the Great Mushroom War. In Finn the Human, she thinks that the mushroom bomb probably marked the end of the war, saying that the world would have been destroyed if Simon hadn't stopped the bomb with his ice powers. So to sum it up, Adventure Time doesn't give us a clear story of what happened before the Great Mushroom War. Even in an interview with Pop Candy, Pendleton Ward, the creator of the show, said that the post-apocalyptic ooh wasn't part of the original series idea, but it came after the episode Business Time when the writers decided the businessmen being frozen in ice made the world post-apocalyptic, and he said that they just ran with it. So at first, the Great Mushroom War probably didn't really have much backstory.
Pause. Okay. The storytelling they did right there with just saying they just ran with it, that usually makes for the best storytelling. Because sometimes when stories are planned out so far in advance that they just somehow get lost in the mix. The story just gets lost in the mix of convolutedness. But they're talking about in the beginning with businessmen, that's when they just ran with it. And that's how the MCU did so freaking well. Because the MCU, okay, if y'all heard that just then, I had another truck just parked next to me. So ignore whatever noise is happening. So either way though, when the MCU started, they didn't plan that many movies ahead. They just knew they wanted to create a movie to where they get to Avengers 1. That's all they planned for. But everything kept going and going and going, and they eventually ended up in Endgame. They didn't tie all these knots together like in their head, like, oh, we got this grand 10-year spectacular plan. No, they got lucky. And they're like, hey, we can keep this going, y'all. And now we're at the MCU where they're trying to plan stuff, and it's just not working. It's just kind of faltering. I like the shows still when I do sit down and watch them in the movies, but they don't have the same mystique that they used to have. Either way, though, yes, I do like the idea that they just ran with it when it happened. And I like that. That's good creativeness in storytelling, that they just kept going with it. But at the same time, y'all literally had an intro with, nukes in the background and stuff like that. Whatever. Let's continue. And
At all. It just happened. But I think as the series went on, it seems like the writers gave us enough backstory to piece together a pretty good idea of what caused the Great Mushroom War. That being that there was an international crisis with political tensions leading to a worldwide conflict with powerful weapons. The Mushroom Bomb, which had a mysterious power that brought magic back to the world and let the Lich rise, marked the end of the war and the beginning of the post-apocalyptic world where the series now takes place. However, that's my theory about it. I might have missed a ton of information that totally disproves this, and I've done a video about the Lich itself in the past, but there were obviously a lot of flaws with that video. So please, if I missed something, put it down in the comments. I read every single one and respond to a lot of them. I hope you all like this video. I really can't stress it enough, but thank you all so much for the support recently. I really do appreciate it. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. It helps so much. But as always, stay adventurous.
Let that finish the last 2 seconds. But okay. So yeah, ultimately, what he's thinking and saying is ultimately it was all about international disputes that culminated into the bomb being released. And once that bomb got released, it released all that magic into the world. It released the Lynch. It released everything into the world. And that's pretty much how it happened. It pretty much, in a nutshell, turned into a world war. And I feel like this is kind of timely for, what's going on nowadays. Because if we're not careful, there could be Oh, sorry. The guy that parked beside me got me distracted when he turned his engine off. Because if we're not careful, though, we can end up in a world war. Obviously, we're not going to have a mushroom bomb drop, as in from the show that releases magic, but ultimately, once that bomb did drop, though, it released all the magic and the Lynch, and okay, so that's pretty much in a nutshell the whole story. International wars were happening, and it culminated into that one bomb that released everything. And then I guess now the Lynch went from that being released into being a Tetris piece because Gulb. Okay. I don't know, there ain't much else to add there. Although I do feel like I did get a lot more lore, because holy crap. Finn, he's a freaking butterfly this whole time? I feel like that's gotta be wrong, but y'all let me know down in the comments if that crap, I'm not gonna call it crap. Let me know down in the comments if that's true, because holy crap, that is just crazy that I need to go back and watch like an episode or something that involves that, because it's like, how is this possible? How did I not know this? I don't know. But I didn't even know Marceline had a mom. Granted, of course, I know how babies work. I know she had a mom, but I didn't know that she had a mom, right, you know. But yeah, that was a little bit of lore added to everything. And next, what we're going to do is delve into Marceline and Simon, because I feel like they're going to have some tearjerker moments with them two that are going to be just really great storytelling. So I'm familiar with them. I know that they got a backstory, but that's about all the backstory I know of them. So either way, though, I don't want to ramble on too much. I want to pass it off to y'all. Y'all know the drill by now if you've been around here. If you've ever made it to the end of a video, y'all know the drill. Hit that like, tickle to subscribe. Don't be texting and driving. Watch what you love and love what you watch. And take it away, Mr. Rogers.
I like you just the way you are.